All right, this is the Week 8 press conference with Travers family head football coach Justin Wilcox prior to Cal's game against NC State for homecoming on Saturday at California Memorial Stadium. We will get questions started with Jeff Ferrato from Cal Bears on SI. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, good morning, Justin. I wonder if we can just start with availability, starting with Jaden Ott, but also Vadakani, Corey Dykes. Looks like Mason Starling limped off the field at the end of the game the other day. Matthew Littlejohn, Ryan McCullough, and then the two wide receivers who have yet to play. I'm probably forgetting somebody. I don't know.
Jaden Ott will be day-to-day, as will Siowape. Corey, same thing, day-to-day. We'll see how they do this week. Ryan McCullough, we'll see where he is later this week. And if he's not ready this week, we'll hopefully get him next week. Same with Littlejohn. The two receivers will not be back. Who else did you mention?
Mason Starling limped off the other day. I don't know if he's hurt. Yeah,
Mason, it doesn't look good. Unfortunate. So we'll have a report when it's appropriate. But he was battling and unfortunate. So we'll see. Probably by next week have an announcement there.
Without giving away any company secrets, can you just tell us how Jaden is doing with everything he's had to deal with and just not being whole and not being healthy and not being able to play?
I don't want to speak for Jaden. It's frustrating, I'm sure, for all players when they're not able to play. Football's a physical game. It's a violent game. Things happen. And, there's protocol that we all follow. The sports med team and the players work together on that. And I don't want to speak for him. I know all the guys want to be out there and it's very rare that guys are 100% healthy, but there's times when they're just not healthy enough to play. So
his is an ongoing situation, the same injury?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
All right, go to Jim McGill from Bear Insider. You're muted, Jim.
Sorry about that. Hey, Justin. Mike's had success combining being an offensive coordinator and an O-line coach at North Texas, but the offense this season is ranked 132nd in sacks allowed and 111th nationally in red zone conversion. With the O-line being such a hands-on coaching job as the biggest position group in the field, has there been thoughts of bringing in an offensive consultant like you did a couple of years ago, or having maybe Sterling take a bigger role in play calling to give Mike more time to work with the line?
Well, the play calling and the game planning is a collaborative effort by the offensive staff. I understand the question. Obviously, we are struggling. The sacks are what they are. I mean, that is totally unacceptable. We can't get sacked that many times. O-line has a lot to do with that. The running backs and protections have a lot to do with that. There are times when the quarterback has got to do a better job. So it's a offensive issue that has to be resolved. I mean, it is what it is. It's a major problem that needs to be resolved. The red zone scoring, same thing. We have to be able to find ways to put the ball in the end zone. Scoring plays, so that's schematics, it's execution, it's kicking and making field goals. All those things matter. So, Mike has done this in the past. It's obviously, I understand your question right now. We are not doing that. We are looking forward to executing at a higher level. We have to do a better job as coaches and players collectively to make that happen.
Thanks.
All right, Jay Curtis, Cal Bears on SI.
Yeah, who will your place kicker be this week?
Well, that's day-to-day right now, Jake, and that's a great question, but it is very much a competition.
Yeah, another question for Coach. Please put it in the chat, and we will call on you. Back to Jeff Ferrato. Go ahead, Jeff.
Justin, regarding the offensive line, how much of it is them just not executing what they should be able to do, and how much is it maybe they're not as good as you need?
It's our job as coaches to get our players to play it at their potential. That's our job as coaches. And if there are things that we're asking them to do that they can't physically do, then we need to change, adjust schematically, however we might need to do that, whether it's more and more people in protection, whether it's getting the ball on the perimeter. but there are things that we're asking them to do that they physically can do. And so there's shared responsibility there from the coaches and the players to go out and execute it. We had opportunities last week, 2 different times in 7-man protections to get the ball launched down the field one-on-one to Tron with a lot of air. And we didn't get either of those balls off. And that's very frustrating. And we had 7-on-4, and that's just totally unacceptable. And so from coaches and players alike, we need to do a much better job whether in protection, running the ball, whatever it is, because obviously it's an issue and we can't allow the bad football. I mean, and that's what we're seeing from time to time. There's also times when they do their job and they play with great technique and effort and with an attitude and a physicality when you're seeing good football. We're just not seeing enough of it.
And I know that everything is linked together, and I'm wondering how much your lack of success in recent weeks running the ball is impacting your ability to keep the quarterback from being sacked because they're just coming at him, maybe because they don't respect your run game.
Yeah, I would say for any offense, the ability to run the ball is always going to help the ability to throw the ball. It's much more difficult when you become one-dimensional. We try to do that as defensive coaches week in and week out. How do you try and make the other team play in a way they don't want to play? So we always want to have balance. And if you're going to have your best games traditionally are going to be, you're able to do both. You're able to run the ball, set up some drop back or play action game. You're staying out of 3rd and long in situations that become very, very difficult. And so it is linked together, and we want to have balance there, but we have to, if you're going to run the ball, you got to be effective running the ball, because having 2nd and 10, and just because you ran it on 1st down, that doesn't mean it's a good thing. You have to make yards and go forward.
Yeah, if I can switch gears real quick. When you say there's an open competition ongoing at kicker, is the freshman Derek Morris part of that? And what have you seen from him so far?
He is very much a part of it. He's done a good job since he's been here. He has talent, and so we'll let those guys compete.
Thank you.
All right, Steve Croner, SF Chronicle.
Good morning, Justin. Kind of a philosophical question. Excuse me, philosophical question. The old Bill Parcells line, you are what your record says you are. On one level, I get that, and I'm sure you do too. On another level, if you compared the team last year at 3-3 to the team this year at 3-3, I think anybody who watched the 6 games last year and the 6 games this year would say the team is better this year, but the record doesn't reflect that. How do you view that?
Steve, I understand what you're saying and where you're coming from. Our job is to help the team win games. And would it feel different if the 3 losses, we had no chance to win? If you're losing by 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, you're not competitive? Well, yeah. I mean, I think the locker room probably feels different. It doesn't eliminate the frustration. Of course there's frustration. And if we can channel that frustration into making 3 more winning plays, well, everybody on this call and everybody in the stadium, I mean, there's a totally different view of the team. It's literally that much. And I think the key as a team and as players and coaches is you really can't, if you make those 3 plays and you're 6-0 and everybody's patting you on the back telling you how great you are, or you don't make them and everybody's telling you how bad you are, well, neither of those are true. Neither of them. So our job is to maximize the potential on the team as coaches. The players' job is to go out and execute to the best of their ability. And the reality is we have to make another winning play in the game and get used to making those plays and learn how to do that in that moment. So the next time it comes up, you have a much better chance to do it again. That's what I think. But ultimately, it's a results-oriented business that we're in, and that's where we are. Do we have a lot of faith and hope and belief in our team and what we're doing? Absolutely. Does everything need to change? No. Does something need to change? Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Toby Anderson, league winners.
Yeah, hey, Coach. We're at the halfway point of the season right now. How would you assess your team's performance in the first half of the season, and then what do you guys have to do to, finish the second half strong?
Well, in the first half of the season, in 3 games, we've done a good job of finding ways to win. And in 3 games, we've been a play short in finding a way to win. Ultimately, we have to find those winning plays on offense, defense, and special teams throughout the remainder of the year. And like I said, once you're able to break the dam and do that once, you're more apt to do it again. And the most difficult part of this game is you don't know when that play is. So every time you line up, it's just the next play. That's the one. That's the one that can change the outcome of the game. And we had multiple chances last week, and I give Pitt credit. I thought it was 2 pretty evenly matched teams, but we needed to find a way to get another stop on defense or to find another explosive or scoring play on offense or on special teams, just one of them. And we weren't able to quite do that. Do I believe in the players on the team to get that done? I do. And like I said before, we don't have to throw everything out, but there has to be some change, and we have to make it happen. Can't sit around and wait for somebody else to do something or hope that something good happens. We have to go make it happen. And it's a challenge every week because the other team is trying to do the exact same thing.
Thanks, Coach.
Back to Jim McGill.
The Co came into the season with a 82% success rate over 4 seasons, but he's been particularly unreliable this season. Is there a problem with snaps and blocking that may not be apparent, or is he kind of just in his head at this point? And when do you just say it's not working and roll the dice with the backup?
Yeah, that's a good question, Jim. Ryan's a very talented young man. He has put it on tape before. We've seen it up close before. This is a difficult one because he does have the ability. He does have the talent. He has seen it and shown it before. The snaps and holds have been good. Protection isn't always perfect, but it's been good enough. And it's a tough one. He's got to work through it. I mean, that's what has to happen. There's coaching. We got Ryan Longwell here knows more about kicking and punting and snapping than most anybody out there. And so we have training available. We got support available in different ways for Ryan, and we're going to support him to be at his best. And where we see, this week, we won't announce it, but we'll see how it goes this week and make the determination late in the week to see which direction we go at the place kicking position.
Okay, thanks.
All right, back to Steve.
Hey, Justin, just on record, it looks like NC State has had somewhat of a similar season that you have. What distinguishes the Wolfpack in your eyes?
I think you're right, Steve. I think there's some similarities. They lost the last 2 games, very close games, had chances to win. They've had some injuries as well. They're a talented group. Coach Doran is a very, very good coach. Got a ton of respect for him and how they play. Offensively, they got a young quarterback who's very gifted. He's a young guy, but he's got arm talent. He's athletic. Their receiver is a phenomenal player. Number 10, the 2 backs are kind of a 2-headed monster. The left tackle, 74, is a very, very gifted player. Defensively, kind of odd front outfit, middle safety. They'll max drop you. They play man. They'll zero blitz you. They're a talented team, and I think they're fighting too. And it's a flip of a coin on a couple of their games, and their record's very different. So I see a lot of similarities in the team. We got a ton of respect for them, and we're going to need to go play winning football for 4 quarters and find a way.
And Matt Moreno from Rivals.
Around this time last year, Fernando was kind of just stepping in as a starter. How would you assess just what he's done so far through 6 games, and what more do you need to see from him the rest of the year?
I think Fernando is going to get better each and every time he steps on the field. Because he's a younger player. He's got about a year's worth of starts under his belt now. His demeanor, his expectations for himself are very, very high. He can continue to get better. There's a lot of things he can get better on. But here's the thing I'll tell you about Fernando. That guy is tough. I mean, he is a tough guy. And he stood in there. He's done it since he's been playing. He stands in there. And there's times when he's going to get lit up and he takes it right in the teeth and he delivers the ball. I mean, I think of a couple of them last week. And I really appreciate that about him. The team appreciates that about him. He's got some really good throws. He's got a couple that he can do better on. There's a couple things just managing the game I think he's going to continue to get better on. So he's not perfect, but I can tell you that the program, the players and the team and the coaches have a ton of respect for him because how tough he is. And so that's a great start. He can throw. He's very tough. He's very conscientious. And I know he's going to continue to get better.
All right, we'll finish this off back with Jeff.
Justin, tell us what you think about how Sheek, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, Sheek Fall has played. And what do you know about his background? I know he's originally from Senegal, but he went to high school in Brooklyn. Tell us what you know about him before he got to Eastern Kentucky.
He's got a really interesting story. He's a great young man. Sheek is how you would pronounce it. He's got an amazing story. I think actually, Jeff, it'd probably be great for you to talk to him about that. It might be a good piece. He went to Eastern Kentucky. He's a big physical guy. I will say this, from the time he left high school until where he is now, the amount of weight he put on and the size his size and his increase in body mass is pretty amazing. So just a really hardworking, kind of quiet young man. He's playing more and more for us. He's earning those reps, and really glad that he's with us. And that was really Vixa Odo and doing the homework and getting to know Sheek and his story. And just we're really glad he's on the team. He's been when you look at guys that transfer in, you don't have a lot of time to get to know those players usually. So Vic did a great job getting to know him, and it's been awesome having him here. We're really, really pleased.
We're going to be talking to him a little bit, I think. But do you know how old he was when he came to the U.S.?
I don't know that. Yeah. He's had it is a pretty amazing story, though. So I'm excited for you to teach people about Sheek's story.